I know what I'm about to say is going to sound absolutely crazy, but I actually prefer the weather here in the UK. I know, I came from California, which is known for notoriously wonderful weather, but also I grew up in Kentucky, which is not known for the best weather, something called tornadoes. In California, you don't know if you're going to go outside and have to drive somewhere and your steering wheel is going to be made out of actual lava, or when you're asleep in the middle of the night on a Saturday and a tornado hits at 1 a.m., which actually happened to me, by the way. Let's talk about why the UK weather is actually the best. In California, you'll go through decades of drought only to have a La Nina or La Nino year and get years of rain in a single week, followed by mudslides, landslides, flooded streets, and you do not want to see the streets of LA after a fresh rain. Now, that's not even touching on the fact that in California, you have Death Valley, literally the hottest place in the world. People have died in Death Valley, hence the name, by just simply having their car break down, having no way to reach anyone, and it's hundreds of miles of road. If you do not leave your vehicle in Death Valley, just a little tip, stay. You're more likely to be rescued at your vehicle than if you go to get help. Also in California, earthquakes. Now, they don't happen all the time. Well, they do happen all the time, but not a level on the Richter scale that you can feel them. But when it lasts for more than a couple seconds, you start thinking, is this like the Northridge earthquake? Is this about to be the time? Yeah, the earthquake part, I'm sure you might remember the Northridge earthquake in the news. It was an insane earthquake. So while the day-to-day life of an earthquake, not very scary, not a big deal, it's when you get those 100-year, 50-year instances and you get the big ones that you're really hoping your building is retrofitted. Now, before I moved to California, I grew up dealing with tornado warnings, tornado watches, and the insane weather of the South. Now, if you're not familiar, Kentucky is actually in an area called Tornado Alley. Now, it is an area of America that statistically has the proper weather conditions to have the worst weather you can imagine. It can be so hot during the day, then when the sun goes down, it's still so hot. There's literally no relief at night. The humidity is insane. So all summer, it is super duper hot. And when the sun goes down, it's just slightly less super duper hot. But because it stays hot all day, it gives you the right conditions to have night tornadoes. Which, if you remember the movie Twister, when the tornado hits at night, when they're at the drive-in, yeah, that's basically where I'm from. So you might be asking, have I been through a tornado? Yes, but unfortunately the story is not as climactic as you would think it would be, because once you're growing up in a place with constant heavy thunderstorms, and I'm talking rain, hard rain, being here in London, being here in the UK, when I have had rain in the forecast and the weather, and then it actually rains, it's what I would call a drizzle at best. Even the storms that have names here, nothing compared to just a Tuesday in the middle of June in summer in Kentucky, and suddenly it goes from sunny to a tornado in the distance. Let's take a trip back to 2005 when I was living in the state of Indiana. I know I just talked about Kentucky. How is that relevant? Trust me, I'll explain it. Geographically, Indiana touches Kentucky. The only thing crossing that is the Ohio River. So from my hometown to my university town was a 20-minute drive. While technically you don't think of tornadoes in Indiana, they still happen. So in 2005, on a Saturday night, I was asleep. I was in university. I know I should have been out partying like everyone else, but I was working, I was tired, it was the weekend. Do I remember many details of said tornado as it was going on? No, I remember most of the aftermath. Growing up with constant heavy storms, and I'm talking heavy thunderstorms. So this whole week leading up to the tornado, it had been raining nonstop, thunderstorms every day. The way that this area that's Tornado Alley is positioned, it's so centered to the United States and it gives you the perfect conditions for hot and cool air meeting and causing tornadoes. So this whole week leading up to it, we're getting tornado watches, tornado warnings. You hear the sirens go off, which cities that live in Tornado Alley have tornado sirens, and usually every Friday they're tested. You just grow up hearing these sirens so much that you can just ignore them as background noise. And it's not good because if you've been in these areas, you know that the sky can go from blue to a tornado in 2 seconds. So this tornado that I lived through in 2005, I believe it's called the Evansville tornado now, but it actually touched the ground and went for about 40 miles, I believe. Now this was in November, not a month you typically think tornadoes is very active. You tend to think of it as spring, maybe a few in the summer, but it does happen when the temperatures are changing because you have those cool air fronts and those warm air fronts colliding. I slept through the whole thing. I woke up the next morning to a call from my mom asking if I was watching the news and asking if I was okay. So I flip on the news and I see all the devastation from this tornado that happened overnight. This hit at 1 or 2 in the morning, and bars closed in Indiana at 3 a.m. This is a Saturday night, so everyone was out. I don't know if you're familiar with the term rain-wrapped tornado, but basically it's when the rain becomes so heavy, it quite literally hides the visibility of a tornado. And when you have that at nighttime, it makes it impossible to see this coming. Also, the sirens apparently did not go off in some areas, but this is such a large landscape with open fields. It's hard that even if they were going off, did people hear them? So the place I was working at the time, I was waiting tables at an Italian restaurant in Newburgh, Indiana. And right across the street is where the tornado had touched down and gone through. It's really hard to put this devastation into words or what it actually looks like in person. You see photos, you see videos, but to see it happen in person, it just looks like the physics of life could not have made this happen. So the restaurant I was working at was on one side of the street, looked untouched under the power was out. But across the street, it looked like a lawnmower had literally just went through the town and chopped off everything from trees to houses perfectly even at the second level. It looked like a giant lawnmower had gone over half the town. The most devastating part is that this tornado hit what we call a trailer park in the States, and I believe you'd call them caravans here. But as you can probably assume, caravans, trailers, they don't hold up so well to giant tornadoes. They can be easily just picked up and blown away. And you've seen tornado footage, you've seen damage. What it can do in a heartbeat to a car basically can do that to a trailer. And unfortunately, 23 people lost their lives that night. It was an insane experience because I don't remember anything about the tornado, having just slept through it. You hear those rain sounds and you think, great, this will be the best sleep, just a little bit of the rain on the rooftop. It actually ended up also hitting a horse track known as Ellis Park. They did rebuild that. But the tornado, yeah, it hopped the river, which a lot of people have the common misconception that tornadoes can't hop bodies of water for some reason. They absolutely can. And even just a few years ago, there was a tornado in Kentucky in Maysfield that happened in May of one year, and to the day the next year, a tornado hit the same town. Like, that is the weather of Kentucky. No, thank you. And then when it comes to winter, it's not any better. You could have a winter with nothing, very mild, maybe a little sweater weather. But every few years, you would end up with a winter where you get a sleet, snow, ice mix. The power goes out. The power lines are torn down from the frozen ice. You can't drive anywhere. I remember one winter growing up when I was a teenager, we had so much snow and ice that we had snow days and canceled school for 3 weeks straight. Which is great when you're a kid. Don't get me wrong. I think my mom was going a little stir crazy. But as a kid, that's 3 weeks of playing Tomb Raider from home because it is quite literally impossible to go out the front door with 4 feet of snow. But as an adult, no, thank you. I do not miss that weather one bit. Yeah, White Christmases are lovely, not when you actually have to get out and drive in them and sustain any adult life. Now, here in London, weather has a personality. It's never trying too hard. But the winters, nothing like Kentucky. The summers, even the hottest days, it's only a few days. It's not 3 months, 4 months of some of the most oppressive, hottest heat in the world burning down on you. It's like the polite house guest of climates. And yes, it rains, but really it's just a drizzle. Not so much that I even really notice anymore. I might always have that foldable umbrella in my bag anyway, so I'm not too worried about the rain anymore. And when the sky is clear, the blue of the sky here is unmatched. I find myself taking time-lapse videos out my window all the time just because of how gorgeous the rolling clouds and the sunset make your golden hour stunning. What I love most about the weather here is its consistency. Yeah, it might drizzle a little here and there. It may not. But I'm not going out having to think about, geez, I hope there's not a tornado tonight while I'm out. I hope my train doesn't get sucked off the track by an F5 swinging by. I hope Bill Paxton can come save me. Oh, actually, if I see Bill Paxton, then I probably died in that tornado. So it's a little damp. It's a little drizzly. It's kind of a little comforting. You can just drink your tea and stare out the window and feel like you're in a romantic BBC period piece, even though you're just doing laundry. Call me crazy, but after tornadoes, earthquakes, basically monsoons, I'll take English weather any day. British weather may not make headlines, but that's what I like about it. It won't make you homeless. It's consistent. It's calming. That's not boring. That's civilized weather. So if you prefer your weather without tornadoes or earthquakes, please give this a like and subscribe. Have you ever lived through a tornado or an earthquake? Let me know in the comments below.